Hey guys, Andrew Strout. I'm here on the sideboard. I'm sitting with Brad Nelson. How's it going, Brad?
Little jet lagged, I mean, I have been going, 6 time zones, but this time was 1. It really got to me.
Yeah, you've definitely been traveling the world, playing some Magic. So to recap, in Honolulu for the Pro Tour, you played Red-White.
Yep.
And then at Grand Prix LA last week, you played Mardu.
Correct.
Red, White, Black. And now to kind of complete that transition, you are playing Black, White, Aggro.
Well, we're not completed yet, so I have to go back to Mardu and then to Red, Black, and then I've got it.
Okay, what if you went to Abzan and then Green, White? Can you do that too?
I could go to Abzan, but not the biggest fan.
Fine.
Yeah.
All right, so Black, White, Aggro, the deck of choice today. Tell me a little about this deck and why you chose to play it.
Well, I built it 3 hours before my flight yesterday.
Okay.
That's the truth. But the strategy was I was playing a lot with Wingmate Rock in a red-white shell. Again, much like my PT deck, but a little bit bigger with a lot of rocks. And the red just didn't do what I needed to do. So I was like, you know what, Herald seems really good right now.
Okay.
All these cards, these white cards are very good. Downfall's obviously good. Let's just build a deck based around Herald and Wingmate Rock. And then you get Sorin. And I just played all 4 of them because Sorin impressed me last weekend. I mean, it's a lot of theory crafting lately.
Sure.
We've just been jamming cards.
Okay, so I guess kind of the figurehead of the deck then is just a big pile of flyers. You have Wingmate Rocks, Herald of Torment, and then the flying tokens from Sorin Solemn
The Tom
Visitor.
Rosses, yeah.
Yeah, so it's basically kind of I don't want to say a flyer theme deck, but that's plan A then, I guess.
It is. So the idea behind the deck is that all the mid-range decks are getting a little slower and trying to beat each other on the top end. Okay. And all the aggressive decks are getting a little more lower to the ground. And white cards are very good against low to the ground strategies, and flyers are good against the green strategies that are trying to go a little bit bigger.
Sure.
You just can attack the planeswalkers, they can't really get anything going. So I just put 4 of all the cards that do both.
Okay, fair enough.
And you have a lot of life gain.
Okay.
You have a lot of rumbling. Your guys get into combat. They're pretty good in combat.
Okay. And then kind of the other side of the threat base. Of course, Wingmate Rock needs an attacker the turn that comes into play. Herald of Torment ideally would have a body to be attached to. So the smaller bodies that you've chosen here, Brimos, King of Oreskos.
He's so tiny.
Oreskos, yeah. Small guy.
Small guy,
just a 3-drop, but a burly one. Seeker of the Way. Another just a 2-drop, but gets pretty big, and then Raise the Alarm.
And Raise the Alarm. Raise the Alarm is the worst card in the deck, but it's the functioning card. It keeps everything together. Not only does it trigger your Seekers when you want to get some life and get some bodies to play, it not only gets pumped by Sorin, but it also defends a Sorin if you're trying to ultimate, which I've done already a couple times today.
Okay.
And it really beats up on green decks. And they have a tough time getting through if you just deal with a Rhino. Okay. But Seeker with Herald is a 6/6 lifelinker for the turn. This deck, because you have 4 Sorins, just playing turn 3. I've never played a deck where you can just play a turn 3 Herald and it feels that good. The deck has been smooth. I've been triggering raid a bunch with the deck. I've only one time just played a Wingmate Rock without raiding it, and the Mardu deck does it all the time. So
sure. All right, and then the rest of the spells in the deck actually kind of just the obvious good stuff. Thoughtseize, Hero's Downfall, Bile Blight.
The removal spells are Bile Blight because it's good, and One Silence Believer because I thought Sarkans and Stormbolt Dragons might be a little bit more popular.
Okay. The mana base, it doesn't immediately jump out as kind of odd, but 26 land in a kind of quote-unquote aggro deck.
Yeah, no 6-drop. The deck doesn't need a lot of resources to win because you have 4 Sorins and you have 4 Wingmate Rocks and you even have Heralds. All of these cards generate more value than they're worth.
Sure.
But if you ever stumble in this format, especially with a deck like this, you just die.
Right.
And that's kind of the case with the format. This deck has the ability to curve, and if my opponent stumbles, they can't catch up. I just feel like this is the most snowbally format ever, where you have to make sure that you're keeping them in check and they're keeping you in check.
Okay. So you basically just have to make your first 5 land drops.
You have to.
Or you barely get to play Magic almost.
At least your first 4.
Okay.
And then one thing I always do with decks is game 1 is we both don't have the right cards for each other, so just go aggressive with a lot of lands.
Yeah.
I have boarded down to 25, even to 24 with this deck already today.
All right. And then kind of the last question there. With 26 lands, I feel like there's certainly room if you had wanted to kind of dabble in Siege Rhinos or Butchers of the Horde or whatever, but you chose not to. So I was wondering if that was something you considered.
It's actually the deck, even though it just looks like a bunch of 4 of good stuff cards, is very synergistic inside of itself. And I have 8 tap lands, and most of the other 3-color decks have 8 tap lands. You could very easily, just with Windbrisk Height or Windswept Heath and the Triland. I don't even know the name of it.
Something Temple.
Something no.
Wind. It's something sweat. All right, whatever.
Well, it doesn't matter. We're boring you already.
The Triland, yeah.
But the Abzan Triland, like, and a couple more mana confluence because the deck has a bunch of life gain. But I wouldn't want Rhino because I only want Sorn. The deck has 8 tap lands for a reason because you have Dreamess, Herald, Bioblight, and Wingman. All your cards cost double black and double white.
Okay.
So I want all my cards to. I want to put a tap line on turn 1, play a 2-drop, play a 3-drop, play a 3-drop, put a tap line, play a 5-drop.
Sure.
That's like the way I built the deck. And one of the things you'll see as this format evolves with how many tap lines is decks are dense in one spot, so you have a turn to play a tap line.
Okay.
You build it into your deck.
Sure. So basically, your mana base was kind of already stretched as thin as it could have been, I think.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I have a mana confluence in my 2-color deck with 12 duels already, and an Urborg, which is kind of a duel.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
I will accept that as just straight black-white, probably the correct build here.
Yeah.
Your sideboard, traditionally in this format so far, there's been a lot of kind of gearing up or gearing down with sideboards. You'll have like the deck you played. The last 2 decks you played, honestly.
Control sideboard.
Kind of started aggro and then shifted into control decks. You're not really doing that here. You're basically just playing sideboard cards.
Yeah, the reason for that is because how the green decks are shaping up to look, and that I don't think Sidisi whip decks are going to be that popular this weekend, and Green Devotion's on a downtick, that I don't need a green sideboard, because like that's what the End Hostilities and the Elspeths did before, was gave me a better Devotion matchup. Okay. Also, I thought that sideboard was better against Abzan than it was, but the way that they've evolved, it's not good.
Sure.
But yeah, like I have just 4 to 5 card sideboards for each matchup, a couple cheap removal spells, even Soldier of the Pantheon.
Yeah, and I wanted to ask about that card in particular.
If I really need to go aggressive, it's the best 1-drop, but the main reason is I feel like Abzan Aggro has the potential of just one-upping me on the curve, and Soldier just brick walls them, or just attacks through all their stuff and you gain a bunch of life, and they take a lot of damage, so it keeps you aggressive.
Sure.
Plus they only have like Bioblights and maybe a couple downfalls to deal with that card. So like that card can just get in 6 to 8 points while gaining you 3 points in the early game.
All right. What are you hoping to play against when you're playing this deck? What are
Honestly,
the good matchups?
I think that my best matchup's mono red. I mean, I have Seeker, Raise the Alarms, Drown in Sorrow.
Okay.
Like it's really good.
A lot of blockers, a lot of life gain.
That's my favorite matchup. But so far, I've been happy playing against anything that isn't like a whip deck. I think whip is one of my worst matchups.
Okay.
Any control deck would be bad because I have 4 Wingmate Rocks, and any Wingmate Rock strategy is going to be bad against End Hostilities.
Sure.
Also, LOL Bestow.
Right. Okay, so basically you've built the deck that is very good against the mid-range creature slush the standard is right now. Yeah. But anyone kind of stepping outside of that might be problematic.
Anyone that's on a different level or has found a way to do these things so far, I think in a month there will be control decks. Sidisi decks will look better. Whip decks will have a better 75. But for now, it's tough to build these decks. Like, I'm not even gonna lie. I came this morning. I was just like, this could be good. This could be bad. Like I could not have any clue. And so far, it's been working really well for me.
Okay. Yeah, definitely has been. Off to a 5-0 start. Is it?
Yeah.
On 5. Yeah.
I have not been 5-0 in Standard Open in like a year.
All right.
At the beginning of the year.
Okay. Well, you're definitely doing good work here.
Yes.
So keep it up with that. I'll be rooting for you. I want to close things out actually with another observation. You're kind of far from home.
Oh wait, what city are we in?
We're in Minneapolis.
Oh wow!
This is quite the hike from Roanoke.
Well, I flew.
Well, sure.
Yeah, I don't even walk like to my hotel.
Yeah, I assumed you did not actually travel by foot. I just wanted to talk to you a little bit about like why you're. I know you've mentioned that you, as well along with Todd Anderson, are also.
Oh yeah, we drank the SCG Kool-Aid, man. We want to be in that Players Championship.
Okay.
That's really we're dead set on wanting to be in that. Once Tom got in the second time, that's when my gears got in. And I was like, I want to work with Tom. The other reason. It's also a stomping grounds area for me. Like, I grew up in North Dakota. It's really close to here. A lot of my friends here this week, and I haven't seen them in years. Like, it's a good excuse to go play some Magic, see some friends, play some Standards.
Okay. Now, I know you are not a man that needs, like, too much coaxing to actually be convinced to come out and play some Magic.
No.
But I assume then we will be seeing you at most of the other SCG Open
Besides
stops.
Next weekend, I'm going to be going to GP Nashville. I will be playing every Open until the Invitational.
All right. Cool. Yeah. Well, I will certainly be seeing more of you.
Oh, yes, you will.
Sweet.
I'll actually be seeing more of you.
Thanks for sitting down with me, Brad.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Stick around. We've got plenty more coverage coming of the Standard Open here in Minneapolis.